here at Rady's.
Jessica Waterstrom, I'm a reading teacher here.
Laura Jones, I'm a reading teacher.
And I'm Ariel Frigo, and I'm also a reading teacher here.
So thanks so much for coming. We're really excited. This is our first time doing something like this, so we're glad to have such a great turnout to introduce the program.
Okay, so one of the things we've started here at Rady's is called Words Their Way. We're doing this for grades 3 through 5, and what it is really a word study. It's looking at the process of knowing and learning words for kids. It's age appropriate, developmental. It's where the kids are right now, where they're ready to learn. We talk about words and we'll compare them through sorts and activities. It's a very hands-on process, so the kids can kind of experiment saying, oh, this goes here, and they kind of have to start reflecting of why. Usually a student spends about 3 to 5 days doing routines, so we're looking for mastery of a certain feature. Not just spelling the word, but able to identify why they did it. So instead of the traditional spelling program like I grew up with, we had our Friday test, I had to memorize it and do it. I admit I'm a horrible speller because as soon as Friday was done, I didn't have to remember those words. With this program, what we're asking for is not memorizing it, but memorizing a concept. And that lasts longer with a kid. Every week we all got the same spelling test, whether I mastered it or not, I had a new list Friday. Not with this process. Once again, we're really looking at where the kids are, what can they do, and it's geared towards individual groups. So it allows us to work with the students' needs and not that one-fit-all model.
Okay, and so through this approach, students are actively engaged. They're moving the cards around, so they're always manipulating the objects, the ideas. They're using language to clarify and cement their learning. They're talking to one another, talking about, reflecting about what patterns they notice. They might be doing another sort where they get to actually create their own headings, and so they get to decide then and explain to the other students what they're doing. So through that, they're learning even more about the words. They're investigating. They're making predictions about words as they're seeing the words. Well, these sort of things they have in common, and they're constructing their own learning through this. So every child can, as Regina was saying, learn at their own pace. So we start at the alphabet, we start with the letters, we work up to patterns, and then we work up to the meanings of the words.
3 times a year we'll be assessing students in spelling. So we already did the first initial assessment where we gave the spelling test, and then we're able to use a computer system as well as sitting down together as a group and looking at how your children are spelling and seeing where do they fall. Are they having trouble with patterns? Is it vowel sounds? Is it endings? And it will be based, and they'll fall into, there's several different categories, but it's individualized so that your child can grow through a concept, and that the individualization is key. So we gave the first assessment. We'll give another one in January to be looking for growth and progress. Now, your child may stay within a certain,
A stage.
And they may grow within that stage, but not be ready yet to move on to the next stage. And that's common, and as long as we're seeing growth, that's what we're looking for. And then we do it at the end of the year, and we take a look and see where did they start, how did they grow. We can also look at what are still some areas where they're struggling. So that's information that we can be passing on to the next year's teacher, so that they're already ready to help your child.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about those 5 different stages that your child may fall into. So kind of what Amy was talking about, she mentioned how the benchmark that is given it is individualized. So once we give that assessment, we will then see where your child falls, and then we will choose a sort that is appropriate for their learning. So there's 5 stages. The first one is the emergent stage. And this stage really just focuses on letters and sounds. So it might look something like this. So if your child comes home with a sort like this, it might have some pictures in it, and it will focus on the letter and the sounds. The next stage is the letter name focus on consonant blends and short vowels. So your child might come home with a sort that looks something like this. So the sort might be short vowel sounds that end like AT, OT, or IT. The next stage is the within word patterns, and so that will have different types of vowel patterns and complex consonant clusters. And so that will be more of like our CVC, CVCE, and we'll talk a little bit more about what that stands for and what that means. But their sort might come home and look a little bit like this. The next stage is syllable and affixes, and that is a combination of prefix and suffix. And that will look a little bit something like this, and that will focus on the beginning sounds that are added to a word and the ending sounds that are added. And the last one is the derivational stage, and that is really what the child is, sorry, I'm just trying to see where I'm at, like their base and their root words. So that will look something a little bit more like this, and this is a stage where we typically don't have students starting in the 3rd grade, but we may work our way up to that stage.
And most of the 3rd graders really are with the letter name alphabetic within word and then working towards the syllable affix. We really have very few that get to the derivational spelling, so that's a tough one. So how do we get started? Once we've assessed them, we take a look at the groupings of the children. We like to have 3 groups in our classroom if we can fit them within 3 spelling patterns. Manage-wise for the classroom, for the students, it works for us. So I think most of us have 3 groups that we work them into. So it's very individualized and right at their developmental stage. No matter what stage the speller is at, they're all working through the same type patterns. So the sorts that we're going to bring you through tonight, every single group, whether they're a letter name alphabetic or if they're a syllable and affix, they're doing the same patterns, the same procedures so that they can get ready to master these words. For students to be successful with these, we really need them to have repeated practice with it at school and at home. That's one of the keys to Words Their Way, is just repeating the patterns over and over and over, manipulating those word cards. So repeated practice is a real key component to that. And the word sorts that we're going to get into are why you're here, so we can ask for your help with that.
One thing too, when they do the word sorts at home, typically the kids will just look at the word and just sort it. One of the things with this is they need to say the word, because it's really, we want them to hear it, so that will help them within their spelling and with their writing. So if you see them not saying the word at home and they're just quickly visually sorting, have them say the word back to you so they can start hearing those sounds and those word parts, because that's a key piece.
And we're going to show you a video of this sort too, so you'll see that one. So how do the students sort? They sort them depending on which level they're at. Sometimes it's based on the sound. Some of you will have children whose kids are working on like vowel patterns, so they'll be listening for the sounds. Cat, rat, cat, sat, they'll be listening for those sounds. Sometimes it's going to be based on the pattern within the word. And you'll see sometimes the headers at the top will have a VC or a VCE, something like that. The V stands for vowel, C is consonant. So that's going to be a key thing with the spelling pattern within the word. So sometimes if it's all, let's say, long A words, sometimes it'll be the vowel consonant E as one of the spelling patterns. Then long A could also be the AY. So you'll see different patterns. So same sound, different spelling patterns. So getting used to that.
So the first sort that we're going to show you today is called a closed sort. And this is usually typically the first sort that the students will do when the words are new and they aren't familiar with the pattern just yet. So what we wanted to show you was how the sort actually looks and how it sounds. And so we took a video of us doing it and we put it on our 3rd grade website. Now this is a new website, it's still a work in progress. There isn't too much to it just yet, but one section we do have is a homework help section that shows these videos of these sorts. So that as they're still new to you, new to your students, it's really going to help you to watch it at home and, oh yeah, that's how we do a closed sort, and then you can help them do it. So the website is up here, it's radies3.weebly.com. I think we've all at some point sent it home on some form, and we're going to continue to do that. But
we're going to take a look at how we do a closed sort, and then you're going to practice.
So this is what our website looks like, and this is found, as Brittany said, under the homework help. And you'll see 3 of our sorts. We're going to start with a closed sort here. Okay, welcome to a closed sort. We're going to show you how you can help your child for homework, working on their spelling words. A closed sort, your child's going to come home with a page that looks similar to this, that has some headers at the top and the words that fit in each of the categories. In a closed sort, you're going to keep the headers with those. This is an example one with short vowels. It could be, your child could have a sort that might look something like that, where it has pictures instead of words, and they would have to say the picture name and sort it. Or it could be something like this, where it has as the headers vowel, consonant, etc., with the header words as well. They would need to cut those apart and sort those. The one we're going to do today is short vowels. So your child would bring this home. They're going to sort for the short vowel A, short I, and short U. So the first thing they're going to do is cut those apart and keep them in a container safe, because you're going to use these each night during the week. So I have the headers separate. So first thing we're going to do is just make sure we understand what the headers are. So this one here is working with a short U, which says as in sun. The short A, which says as in can. The short I, which says it, as in pin. Good. So now she's got all of her words cut apart. So she's going to just read a word, and she's going to find the category that it fits under with the spelling pattern.
Grin, sun, grin, can, grin, pin. Win, sun, win, can, win, pin. Plan, sun, plan, can. Van, sun, van, can. Ran, sun, ran, can. Run, sun. Fan, sun, fan, can. Pan, sun, pan, can. Fin, sun, fin, can, fin, pin. Fin, sun, fin, can, fin, pin. Chin, sun, chin, can, chin, pin. Tan, sun, tan, can. Skin, sun, skin, can, skin, pin. Bun, sun. Van, sun, van, can. Fun, sun.
Good. Once they're all sorted, she's going to go through then and read the header and read each of the words just to make sure that she has them sorted correctly.
Sun, run. Sun, bun. Sun, fun.
Good.
Can, plan. Can, van. Can, ran. Can, fan. Can, pan. Can, tan. Can, van.
Good.
Pin, grin. Pin, win. Pin, fin. Pin, thin. Pin, chin. Pin, skin.
Excellent. So that's how you'll help your child to do a closed sort.
Everyone always loves hearing their voice. So now we're going to have you practice doing a closed sort as well. This is typically what your child will get in the classroom. It's what they'll be bringing home, where it's just a full page, just like this. And what we have taught them is to cut out the words first, and then cut out the individual words.